today again I'm coming with a book review of a book that I just finished reading. It is After the Banquet by Yukio Mishima, another Japanese writer. So starting the summary of the book. So the story starts off with introduction to a powerhouse of a woman named Kazu. She's very independent, she's strong-willed, and she runs a restaurant, a setsugon, in Japan, and I think it's sort of a high-end restaurant, remember, and she entertains a lot of people from the political party, particularly the conservative party, and entertained people. But somehow among her guests, and she has this way about her that she can easily charm the other person, remember. It doesn't matter the age, gender, doesn't matter, but she can easily charm the other person. And but she bogi charm even though she charms and there are people falling in love with her, she keeps her distance with it. But one day, Conservative Party members, there comes a person called Noguchi, who is sort of a stark contrast to Kazu. He is independent, obviously. He is widowed. He was a former minister, a cabinet minister of some sort, and he is part of a radical party. He is very fixed on morals, what he thinks is right and wrong, on his principles, and somehow the two of them starts having a love affair, a romantic affair. The romantic affair leads to marriage, which then turns sort of bitter. And what starts off as something romantic soon turns into it becomes dragging. There's a lot of, not a lot, but there's a quite significant number of misunderstandings that leads to significant consequences. And Noguchi is kind of emotionally manipulative and abusive, I would say. Then, under the weight of social expectations, social pressure, of each person gave pride and values, and unresolvable differences give it, the marriage collapses. It's the key impressions. I like to say that the novel feels very intense. It's emotionally draggy, and it's very intimate to a certain point. And it's not as dramatic. I mean, it's more dragging and exhausting than it is dramatic. And there's a clear, in the novel, most of the characters, there's a clear struggle between holding on to traditions and adapting to modernization. And what I found the most interesting about this book is that the marriage is portrayed not as something romantic, lovey-dovey, oh, sunshines and rainbows, but rather something that is a psychological warfare somewhere. And politics, it talks about politics as well, right? So like I said, Kazu usually entertains Conservative Party, but she ends up marrying someone who's from the Radical Party. So Yukio Mishima portrays politics as something that's dehumanizing, something that drains you financially, emotionally, mentally. So those are what I think are the key impressions I got from the book. Now, what I think are the main themes of the book? Main themes of the book, I think, are number one, power struggle. In the marriage, Noguchi, the Kazugi, there's sort of power struggle. Number two, the femininity, the feminine power, the intensity. Because Kazuki, firstly, she tries to adapt to her husband, follow his lead and all that, but at the end she realizes that she's just not that kind of person, and she stands on her own grounds. Then third thing is, it shows us how the ideals that stick to you when you age. I mean, age better. Noguchi, he ages, but he refuses to accept that there are certain things that are no longer there, that certain things you need to just let go of. He thinks politics is pure. So I feel that one of the main themes is the ideals a person has, and how it ages with time, and how new ideals come in place. And last and finally, public life versus private life. Publicly, in front of everyone, they are a really good couple. Somehow, an odd couple, but they're really good. But privately, like I said, Noguchi gay, emotionally manipulating and abusing Kazu, I feel. Maya, as when I was reading, I was like, I could not survive with this person. I could not survive living a day with this person, let alone, let alone being married to this person. What I really liked now next is what I really liked about the book. What I really liked about the book is how it depicted how things are not the same for women, even in this age. Mo hemagi time na did it was like post-war Japan with Afi time, and even today how society is still equality it's still not equal. And I love like how Yukio Mishima has depicted that in this storytelling nalo, and how Mishima tells the story in such a way that the tension builds up in your chest and in your mind, but it erodes also. Dramatic. Last time you thought Dostoevsky is it's not like this. It's not a roller coaster. It's a small gradual build up, and then when it builds up, when it simmers down, also it's like when it falls down, also it's a slow simmer. It doesn't like go up and then down when we enjoy about this. I really like that aspect. And the dislikable part of the book is, well, mostly the character Noguchi. I really dislike him. I'm sorry, I really dislike it. Dislike the person. And secondary characters do, but they weren't given much importance. I guess for some readers who like thrill the uh, emotional stimulation when reading, you might not like this book because it's really slow paced. Who I think are the target audience of the book? Well, maybe those who enjoy modern Japanese literature. Those readers who like knowing their characters rather than having a plot that just comes and goes. And for those who might like the psychological realms of marriage and politics, maybe those are the target audience. Like people, but mostly people who like slow-paced novels. It's for you. And the final impression is that I like the book. I like the book. I like how devastating it is. I like how the character introduction was done. I like how the character just meets this person, and then she has her own insecurities or her own fears, and she gives into those insecurities and fears, and then tries to change herself into someone Noguchi would, or her husband would like. But at the end of the day, they're just two different beings, polar opposites, and they don't get along. So I really like that about the book. So I would say out of 10, I would rate this book maybe like 7.5. And I suggest you read it because, trust me, more, you will dislike this person, Noguchi. You will just, he's irritating. He's labesisi, is all I can say. Read. After the Banquet, Yukio Mishima.